We as lit students, we study books, we study plays, films. Is there any particular work that you recommend people to go dive into?
I'd say A Fine Balance. I think it's a good book. It's thick, it's like 600 pages, but it's a book that you cannot put down at all.
Okay.
And I think you become very emotionally invested. More importantly, makes you aware of a culture that you're not part of.
I think that's what's so interesting. You get Western authors and you get South Asian, you get Southeast Asian, even Singaporean literature. So it's so diverse. What NTU English offers. If I could choose one, I think this is a text from British Asian literature. Mira Shah's Life Isn't All Ha Ha He He. It's just very interesting. I mean, it's always about race, but it's also about gender. It's about your life. The three protagonists go through miscarriage, they go through adultery, and you really, I didn't go through all that, but reading it, you kind of understand that there's a whole world and there's a whole culture and there's a whole life out there that you aren't really exposed to, and that's what books, it does for you.
I really liked from Southeast Asian literature, Durga/Mai by Y.B. Mangunjaya. That was the first book that I read that I really connected to because it was about Indonesian nationalism, and my family is from Indonesia. So that was very nice to read about how the nation came about and how it was tied to a female body, and the protagonist is a feminist. We love a feminist icon, so it was really nice to see her journey and how it played into Indonesia gaining their independence. So that was very nice to read.
I guess one of the more interesting contexts that I've read and would recommend would be Jamaica Kincaid's A Small Place, because I think that was literally the first text that we read in our program, and it was so impactful to me that we would even look at, first of all, a woman, a person of color, and an immigrant's writing. And because I was honestly expecting classical lit or Shakespeare, the first thing we come in.
Yeah.
So to have that, it kind of allowed me to get a better sensitivity towards diasporic writers.
I think for me, one book or work that I recommend is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's a very iconic text that everyone would have studied in their very first module in year one. And I actually studied the text 3 times. In my course of my study, you can look at it in a feminist way, you can look at it in a post-colonial way. So I think it's a very flexible text and it's super iconic, and I feel like everyone should be familiar with it. It really helps you kind of understand how you can look at one book in different ways. This brings me to my next question, which is also related to your time here in NTU, of course, our experiences, and that is, what is your favorite memory in NTU English?
Getting the same classes as your friends, because school's not fun without your friends, and especially when it comes to stuff that you can discuss. We discussed a lot, obviously. I had South Asian with one of my 2 closest friends, Nigel and Sam, if you're watching, hello. And it was really nice because we read the text, we discuss it, and even during our breaks we were talking about the book, The Nerds Wheel. But it was just so nice, being around people who have the same interests as you, who know what you're talking about.
I think for me it's getting to know the profs. So I highly recommend you to meet your profs, meet them for consultation or just speak to them. So I realize every time I meet a prof for consultation, it just digresses into recommending read this, and I'm like, okay, but it's not connected. I highly recommend you to take up any chance that you get to work with the prof very closely. So you might be offered Eureka, so it's an undergraduate research student experience, and if you can do it when you work closely with one prof on a topic of your choice. I worked with Assistant Professor Catherine Jaime. We did medieval charms. It's not relevant to my dissertation now, but it was a really, really good experience. So I would add on I'm doing a dissertation and I'm working with Assistant Professor Cheryl Julia Lee, and it's just those moments in her office that we just talk and she recommends new things for me to read, and I might not have read them, but it really it shows you, this prof's they got our back, and they're really there to support us and to make sure that we do the best that we can do. So yeah, it's really refreshing. All profs in NTU English are like that. So
Yeah.
I think for me, it's very hard to choose like a memory. I would say that there are memories that you take away from like every mod that you have learned in like NTU English. For me, the one that like touched my heart recently is Theatre of the Absurd, taught by Assistant Prof. Michelle Chiang. So towards the end of the lesson, I think it's a surprise, so I won't go into much for like those people who haven't take her mod. But she gives you a very like she gives you a small present which with a like quote that will like really kind of like aspire you to like change the way you view your life in a sense. I think it's just important to remember that no matter how much you struggle in life, it's always worth it. So I think that was something that touched my heart, because it was at that point where you're like cramping up for finals and like all your last few submissions. So it's like it really like made a difference. Yeah.
It feels so like nice
And inspiring.
Yeah. As for me, I feel like for my favorite memory, actually it seems so like simple, but I think it's the fact that I've struggled so much in like year one, coming into year one. I don't know, it feels a bit maybe sadistic to say that, okay lah, that was my favorite memory, but I think in retrospect that period of time made me stronger. Now I'm in year 4, so to me it's kind of like if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. Yeah.
For me, thus far, the favorite memories that I've had are like okay. I don't recommend this. Just putting it out there. I don't support this or recommend it, but it's my experience. But staying in school till late and staying up overnight over Zoom like with my friends, just to like make sure we're getting work done. It just drives home the fact that you're not alone in this. There's always someone else who is there with you.
One final question is that, you know, having heard everyone's opinions, everyone's experiences, what is the one tip that you can give to make the most out of our NTU English experience? One tip.
The first year, I didn't really read a lot of the text because I thought, I'll Google it, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But you're not as interested when you don't read it.
Yes.
Like, I've read literally every single core text like this semester that I was assigned, and I enjoy my classes so much more because first of all, I know what the prof is talking about.
Yeah.
Second of all, like I can like discuss with people what the text is about. And like, if you don't read, you're not gonna enjoy it because you're gonna be like, oh, when is this class gonna end? Because you don't know anything about it. So my tip is to always just read the text.
I have a few.
Yeah.
I think number one is be open-minded.
Yeah.
And I think another one that is very important is don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Don't be afraid to reach out. And I think that if you're afraid to like voice out your opinion, then you will never allow other people to understand your perspective.
Yeah.
So I think just don't be afraid. Yeah. And it's okay to be wrong. Like, it's okay to learn and understand where or why you might be wrong.
a prof said to the class when I was in year 1 that never compare yourself to your peers. So she said it when she was returning essays, and she's like, don't ask your friends what grade they got, and really don't do that. As much as you've got a community here supporting you, that this is an individual learning process, it's a journey that you have to go through, and you might fall down sometimes, you might get a C, but it just doesn't matter. Just learn from it, see where you went wrong, and then just improve. And you will improve. During these 8 semesters, you're going to go through a lot of ups and downs, but at the end of it, you're going to come out so much more confident, so much more sure of who you are as a person, as well as what kind of things you're interested in. And just like, don't compare yourself to people.
Yeah.
If someone likes something else, good for them, but find your own voice basically, and just shoot for the stars.
The one thing that I've learned in particular is that don't compare how you learn to others.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of learn best when I start preparing for my essay early. The thing is, if some people like to leave it to the last minute because it helps them.
If you're a person who works under pressure, then sure.
True.
And this comes to the point of don't compare yourself to
Yeah.
others. And if you like to work in a time crunch, then go for it.
Wow, I wish I had heard all of this before.
No, because you're
Yeah.
year 1.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess one tip, like based on my experience, would be just to discuss. Because even if it sounds like everyone's gonna reach the same conclusion, like ultimately everyone's takeaway from it will still be different. And if you want to extend it further to real life, like discussing things and like being open to hearing people out, like it definitely does help out.
I think you have to learn to forgive yourself. Also,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
make mistakes, or like
Yes.
if you say something and someone disagrees with you, doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just
Yeah.
means that there's
Different opinions.
different opinions, and just learn to accept that this is your own journey.
Yeah.
And just be more forgiving of yourself. Yeah.
It's a very beautiful kind of experience every time. Every time you enter a class, you know, and you get to hear people and meet different profs. Yeah, it's always great. Thank you so much for sharing. And once again, we are coming to the end of this episode. If you have any more suggestions or any more questions, really, feel free to drop them in our comment section down below. And do remember to give us a follow on Instagram at ntu.english. Okay. Once again, this has been Anne Nicole representing NTU English along with my peers. We hope you have a good day and we'll see you soon. Bye.